Welcome, dear friends, to the Taviren, a Wheel of Time podcast hosted by three gentlemen for whom the very wheel itself bends around. Without further ado, here are your hosts, Bill, Rob, and Rich.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Taviren podcast, where I am Bill and I'm running very, very late today.
And I'm Rich and I'm very, very on time.
You were very, very on time, and I do apologise because you being on time means you have got up at the arse crack of dawn.
Yep, basically.
Whereas for me, I was literally talking to someone and then someone else said, "Oh my God, my computer's on fire."
That sounds awesome.
The PC wasn't actually on fire, but that's my job. I work in IT support, and I'm very much the man who's leaned upon in his neck of the woods. And I couldn't find my phone anywhere, but I just found it.
Nice.
So yeah, I am all over the place today. So how's it going, Rich?
That's going.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm worn out.
That's right. We'll make it a short one, despite the fact we've got a rather chunky episode to talk about. Although all the good stuff happens at the end.
So yeah, this chapter it sets up to something pretty good at the end.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So to follow our usual outline, I think we normally do iTunes reviews, which we haven't got any, but we've had a few nice comments on YouTube. But I did say I wasn't really going to read through the YouTube comments. But yeah, no, there's just a few people chimed in and gone, "Hey, I like the fact I found this on YouTube. Thank you very much." And it's just like, "Hey, you're welcome." So yeah, I like that sort of stuff. So if there is an iTunes review, we can leave that up to yourself and Rob for next week. Rich.
Okay. I don't see any as of now, so.
Yeah. I'm not sure if there was one, but who knows? Who knows what there might or might not be in this world? I certainly don't. I'm very confused, lad.
That's okay.
Like I said, I'm just like all over the place today. Anyway, so speaking of me, Rich, this is my last episode for a while.
I know. I'm a little sad by that, but it is what it is.
I am too. I'm going to begin my hiatus from Taviren podcast first. Now, the reason for that is because there is three of us.
Yep.
There's only me and you for the RPG Golden Years podcast. So I have to make sure there's enough stuff done there so that me and you are ready for when I take a break. But I believe you've got some stuff lined up with Scott and Jay, hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully. Yeah, I think you're all going to do hopefully you'll do a first impressions on the new Pokemon game. I really want to hear that. And what was the other one?
There's a couple things here and there that I want to talk about.
What you should do, and if you're listening, Colin, you should, because I think, have you bought Romancing Saga 3, Rich?
Yes, I have.
Have you dived into it yet?
No, I haven't.
Because oh my God, at the moment. This is the wrong podcast to talk about this. Yeah, let's move on. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Sorry, I just suddenly forgot what podcast I was doing. Yeah, this is Taviren, not Golden Years. Yep, and I've already arranged stuff with Tyler and Troy for my other two podcasts to make sure they're covered while I'm off. So
nice.
So it's just this one. I'm going to have to hand it over to you guys early so that I can get all the other stuff ready.
That's fine.
I've had to book in some extra recording time with Tyler and Troy. And Troy, Troy's in the same situation. He's having a baby. We've got the same due date. Did you know that?
Wow.
Yeah, our children are both due on the same day, but thousands upon thousands of miles apart.
Nice.
Yeah, small world. But I think only 2% of babies are normally born on that day. On their due date, knows. Yeah. So I don't think there's any real Wheel of Time news. It's not the normal Wheel of Time Wednesday. So
no news on Tom yet. So
no news on Tom, except people suspect he may be that guy who was in the video, who nobody knows who he is yet.
We'll see.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. So hopefully next week we'll have some more news. But for this week, let's get into it, Rich. Let's get into Four Kings in Shadow. The shadow descends upon the Four Kings. So what is the Four Kings, Rich?
That's an inn.
Is it?
Isn't it?
No, it's the town.
Oh, it's a town. Yeah, town. Sorry, my bad.
Yes. So Matt and Rand on their horrible travels, which have been slightly improving recently. We normally get the little bit of improvement before everything goes to pot.
Yeah. They're learning how to be, gleeman and everything else. So
yeah, trainee gleeman. Rand's getting quite good on his flute. Rand's getting good at playing with his flute. Matt's getting good at playing with his balls. So look into that how you will. But yes, they are apprentice gleemen in training, and they've been doing a good job so far of stopping off at the towns, and gradually, we're going to the inns, saying, "Hey, we'll play our way through the night for a bit of food and board, and then we'll move on." And so far, the innkeepers have been very good and very forthcoming. But yeah, they finally reach a place called Four Kings, which they note that there isn't a lot of farmland around to actually support the actual town. So it's more of a merchant's town, and there's lots of inns, and they talk about how the roadways in are just all pitted and lots of crevices in them and stuff. And Rand even talks about how he fell over. He got out of the cart that they were riding on and almost immediately got run over by another cart and got sworn at. One of the things I like is how they describe about how everybody in this town just swears their head off, Rich.
Oh yeah. Very, very vulgar.
Yeah, everyone's effing and blinding, and he compares it to the women at home who normally just stand gossiping over their fence, whereas the women here curse so much that it even made Matt turn his eyes. It's like, whoa. So yeah, even Matt's offended by the amount of cursing that goes on here, and yeah, and then Rand, when he nearly gets run over by a car, also gets cursed at by someone. But they go past a couple of different inns, and they can hear inside the inns that there are musicians playing. And so they think, no, I'll give that one. I'll avoid that one because they've already obviously got some entertainment going on. They're not going to want two apprentices. They go past another inn, until they finally reach the fourth inn, Rich, the Dancing Cartman.
Yes.
So this is Cartman from South Park, right?
It is very much Cartman.
Yeah, he's got his sexy little bikini on.
Mm-hmm.
Say, beefcake, beefcake. Anyway, that's just what I thought of when I read this. Oh yeah, the Dancing Cartman, and yeah, all the inns in the town are very brightly coloured, almost like Tinkerish. And but this inn is exactly the same. It's got nice bright colours, but they mention how it looks a bit worse for wear. This inn, the paint's peeling off the walls, and yeah, it just doesn't look very good. But more importantly, the inn is quiet. There's a bit of hum and a bustle inside, but there's no music coming from it. So they think, all right, we'll try our chance at this one. And they walk into the inn and they speak to the innkeeper, whose name is, I want to say Gelb. No, Gelb was the guy on the
Goad.
That's it. Goad, Gelb. Generally if your name's beginning with a G, because I think even later on there's another sort of bumhole guy in this, and his name begins with G as well. It's even more confusing. Thanks, Mr. Jordan. But yes, Geld is the innkeeper, and Rand makes a note of the fact that he's not very fat. He's a skinny innkeeper. And what should you never do, Rich?
Never should go there.
Never trust a skinny innkeeper.
No, that's true. Yeah, don't do that.
Egwene's dad was a chunky man. The man who helped him out in the inn in Burlon was a chunky guy. And this is like Rand's like, oh, this guy's thin. He's not very fat. And yeah, he's not a very nice man. So most of the people so far have been giving Matt and Rand a bed for the night, something to eat. And yeah, this guy's just like, nah, you guys can sleep on some pallets.
Yep. And still had to pay for it too, I think, right?
No, I think he said that, and then he says you'll have to pay for your food, and Rand's just like, no, we'll have our food and we'll have it. So Rand starts to barter with the guy basically. Yeah. And the guy's not very up for it. He's like, I've already got a musician, and then one of the waitresses walk past and goes, you've got a drunk. I'll be surprised if he's sober enough to find where the stage is. And he just backhands her.
Yeah.
She falls on her ass, and it's just like, whoa. Alarm bells are already ringing here, Rich. Already ringing. He slaps the waitress, she falls over, and then he docks her for breaking the pot that she had to, like, she's got a tray of drinks. She spills one of the drinks and breaks one of the cups. And he's like, all right, I'm going to deduct that from your pay. Just like nothing.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what?
I was like, it happens.
Yeah, she doesn't even react to it. She just gets up, rubs her cheek, and walks off. And I'd be like, I'd be pissed, man. I'd be fuming. And one of the things that got asked on our Discord by Asher Mantanis was like, why didn't they just leave at this point and go sleep under the bushes?
Well, because honestly, once you start getting used to sleeping inside after being outside so long, you kind of just deal with it.
Yep, that's exactly what I said on Discord. I said, screw that, I'd want room and board for the evening. Especially as we haven't really mentioned this, like before they go into the inn, there's a lot of dark clouds rolling over the town. And there's, they can feel the pressure in the air. And just as I think even Matt says just before they accept the terms with the innkeeper, he says like, should we stay here? And then there's like a crack of thunder. And they're like, yeah, let's stay here for the night. We don't want to get caught out in this weather. And so so they agree to do it, and they go and set themselves up on stage. But the innkeeper has been the whole time glancing his eyes over a certain item that Rand has got strapped to his waist.
That would be something stupid, probably. No, it's a sword.
Yeah, the black mamba. Rand's black mamba, or the heron marked sword that he got from Tam at the very early stages of this show. So, he's constantly looking at it, and then when they go set themselves up on stage, he notices he's looking at it. He notices Hake and what's the other guy called?
You got Hake and Jack.
Jack, yeah, the two bouncers.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and he notices they're all looking at him, and the innkeeper just will not take his eyes off of his sword, and he's just like, he says,
he wants it.
Yeah, he wants it bad. And he turns to Matt and goes, they're going to rob us. We should probably get out of here. And Matt's just like, nah, after we've eaten something. And this is the theme for like the next 20 minutes of the book, is that Rand is just sitting there thinking, oh God, these guys are going to rob us. And then every time he says it to Matt, he's just like, nah, let's wait until we've had a sleep. It's like, no, they're going to rob us. They're going to rob us, Matt. Matt, you're the suspicious one.
He's just probably tired.
Yeah, I think they're both very tired. They've had a rough ride into town. But they set themselves up on the stage, and even now, Rand just thinks, do you know what? It's a bit too late. We've just got to see this bit through now. No, run away, guys, run away. But he starts playing, and he realizes he starts playing a lot of songs like Jolly Jane, Ria's Fling, and Colours of Sun. And he realizes that a lot of the ones that he plays often have different names. So he quite often, people are just shouting out names of songs to him, and he goes, hey, hum me the tune. And he's like, oh, I know that one. Like, he knows The Drunken Peddler, but they keep calling it Tinker in the Kitchen. You don't want to ask what that tinker's doing in your kitchen, mate. So no. He's just sitting there, and they kind of take it in turns between the two of them. Matt's playing on his flute, and Matt's juggling some balls. And occasionally as well, he mentions about the fact that people start shouting for one or the other. Like, some people want Rand to keep playing on his flute, and some people want Matt to keep juggling his balls. And as we know, Matt's very good at juggling balls.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He can juggle those balls all night long. So, Hake's not the bouncer. Hake's the innkeeper. That's his last name, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Sorry, I got that confused.
No, Goat is it Goat? That's the.
No, it's Jack and Strom are the bouncers, and Hake is the innkeeper. I think he's like. Would you?
Oh no! Okay, Goat is actually the creepy. Yeah.
The creepy guy who comes in a minute. Okay. Yeah. So Hake's the innkeeper. Sorry about that, guys. Like I say, I'm very disorganized today.
So many characters.
Yeah. So Jack and Strom are the bouncers. Hake is the innkeeper, and Gobe. Yeah, Gobe is a merchant who comes in a little bit.
Yeah, he's a very rich merchant.
Yes. So So the place fills up. There's fights breaking out. You know, we see Jack and Strom taking care of the fights as they will, and yeah, it's all very, you know, it's kind of all going okay at the moment. But Rand keeps looking over at Hake. Hake's looking at Rand, and then Rand eventually realizes actually he's not looking at me. He's looking at all the stuff piled behind me, including my sword. And every time I put Tom's nice silver flute down. And he's just like, man, these guys are just going to rob us so badly.
Yep.
And then, yes, this is where we get a creepy guy walks in. He kind of walks in out of the rain because it's pissing down by this point. Absolutely pissing down. And he's soaking wet. He takes a quick look round, looks to walk out of the pub, and then spots Matt and Rand. And he stops, and then he goes and takes a seat. And everyone can feel how creepy this guy is. Every time someone goes to sit near him or share his table, he gives them a look, and they get up and they walk off. So there's kind of like this aura around this guy who's just walked in, and it starts to make Rand feel even more anxious because all he's doing is looking at them and smiling. You know, you get like when I've read this chapter several times now, Rich, and it's kind of like the guy gives me like creepy paedophile vibes. In the way he's doing, it's just like, what's this guy doing? what's he up to? And yeah, so Matt, this makes him feel even more uncomfortable, and so you know they talk to Gelb. Gelb's the guy from the bloody spray. Right, they talk to Hake, the innkeeper, about their dinner, and he's like, "All right, guys, you go and have your dinner quick, but don't take too long. I want you back out here playing before the customers get upset." So they go out to the back, and this is where we get the fat cook, who starts filling up a bowl with meat, potatoes, and peas. Oh man, it's making my mouth water. It's lunchtime here, man. I haven't eaten yet. And yeah, Matt and Rand are just like, oh my god, I'm going to plow into this so badly. Rand even mentions before she's finished making Rand's bowl up, Matt's already half finished his first plateful and is asking for more. Like, please, man, may I have some more? And while he's sitting there, he can't help but notice, or he can't help but overhear the conversation going on between the waitresses, who all hate Hake. They all hate him with a passion, but you know, for some reason they just continue to work for him. And they're all sitting there rubbing their sore feet, and they're all discussing the man in black who's walked in. Now, we say man in black. This isn't a murderer. He's revealed his face. He's kind of got a cheeky, boyish face, they describe him as. And they're just like, oh, he must be so rich. Like one of them says, he's a bit too fat for my liking, but it doesn't matter how fat they are as long as there's money to go with it. And yeah, they talk about the fact that he actually went to every other inn in town and just walked straight out until he got to this one. And they even joke about how crappy this inn is. So it's very surprising that this guy decided to stop at their inn. And yeah, it's like, okay, this just sets it off 100% in Rand's head. He says to him, he says to Matt, this guy's a dark friend. And Rand's just really suspicious, and he's just like, he feels like he even recognizes the guy. This would be freaking me out. And I think this is where we learn that he goes outside. He goes out into the rain, and he looks at the stable, the cart, this man, who we don't know who his name is yet, although me and Rich have called him Gobe 20 times throughout the episode. Yep. So he goes out into the where the horses are kept and where the guy's carts are, and he reads the side of the cart. And he realizes, oh my god, this is Gode the merchant. It's all like emblazoned in gold on the side of his carts that he's been traveling in. And he's just like, I recognize that from Whitebridge. He's like, oh shit.
They're being followed.
Yeah, this guy's been following us since Whitebridge. The ladies were all gossiping, all mentioned that apparently when he rode into town, his horses were blowing really hard, like he'd been pushing them. And yep, he puts two and two together and realizes, yeah, this guy's probably a dark friend. But we had the more pressing things to deal with, is that Hake and his buddies are still going to rob him. So
they got to watch out for that.
Yeah, so they're a bit stuffed at this point. They're kind of trapped inside this inn. They can't really get out. They have to go back out on stage and play and watch this creepy man. And the creepy man starts winking and smiling at them. You know, this is where I start getting like the old Michael Jackson feels here. It's just like, ooh.
Oh yeah,
what's going on here? It's like, hey, little boys. Yeah, Goad's really creepy. You should listen to the audiobook as well. When he speaks later on, they do a proper creepy voice for him.
Oh yeah.
It was just like, oh man, this guy makes my skin crawl. And yeah, so anyway, they get to the end of the night. Jake and Storm kick everyone out. And including the merchant. Oh no, actually the merchant quickly runs up to Hake and books a bed for the night. So he's staying in the inn, and as he goes up the stairs, gives him another wink. Oh man, Gabe is so creepy. Oh, anyway. Yeah, and so Hake makes Hake, Jack, and Storm all lead Matt and Rand to their quarters, and Rand even says, "Hey, you need these two guys to show us to our beds." He's like, "I'm a man of property." Man of property can't be too careful. And it's just like, really? Like this whole time, there's all thunder crashing around. So it's just like, man, they are proper being cornered here. Proper being cornered. How do you feel at this moment, Rich?
I feel good.
You feel good?
I feel good.
Yeah,
about this whole thing.
I don't.
No, I don't.
I feel like I'm going to get gang raped.
Yeah.
It's just like these three men following us in. There's a weird, creepy guy upstairs. Oh man, this is just like pure. This is just alarm bells are ringing. You've just got to try and get out as soon as you can. But they get taken all the way to the back into this weird little basement thing where there's no locks on the door either, so they can't lock themselves in. And it's lucky that the blade is heron marked, because Rand just keeps sort of like casually placing his hand on it, and you feel like they're about to rob him, and then Hake kind of like waves everyone away, and even like the two bouncers look at Hake like, "What? Why are you waving us away?" It's just like he's clearly a little bit nervous about the fact that Rand has got this sword. And he's just like, well, let's not do it yet. And even Matt says, they did rob us. And Rand's just like, yeah, they're going to wait till we're asleep.
Yeah,
that's the sensible time to rob someone, when they're sleeping. So they end up in this place. Rand finds two little wedges or something that he puts underneath the door. He waits for a crack of lightning and hammers them in with his foot, just crack, and just to sort of try anything he can to seal the door. And so they're like, right, shit, guys, how can we get out of this room? There's one little window. So they use all their strength and all their power, and they break the window open, only to find that there's metal bars on the outside. And it's like, oh no, oh shit. And then Matt's just like, water's coming in through the window, it's beginning to pool on the floor. Matt runs around the room, he finds a crowbar, starts trying to crowbar their way out. It moves half an inch, and there's loads of nails that pop out. And so every time there's a crack of thunder, they're trying to move these bars out, and it's just going slowly. I like the use of the word a hair's breadth as well, Rich.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
It moves.
I'm doing that.
It moves a hair's breadth. It's just like, oh mate, that's like it moves a Rizzler, the width of a Rizzler out. Not that I know what Rizzler is. And they're gradually trying to do it, and then eventually there's a big crack of thunder, and they drop the thing. It hits the bars, makes a ton of noise, and they're like, shit, they're going to know we're trying to escape.
Yep.
But they don't hear anything.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, they're not. They obviously trust in these bars, so they get back to work, and then eventually there comes a little rat tat at the door. Who's that? Who's come for a visit, Rich?
It's not the innkeeper.
It's not the innkeeper. It's not the bouncers. It's our weird, creepy paedophile friend,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Gabe. Hello, Gabe. I'm Gabe, and I've come to Dancing Catman. Oh, sorry. I need more coffee.
I was just going to let you go with that. It's fine.
Yes. Oh, man. Creepy old Gabe. And he tells the boys, he's like, well, Rand just shouts out and goes, "Hey, go away, Hake. We're trying to sleep." And it's just like, "Hey, I fear you have mistaken me. I fear you have mistaken me. I'm Hal Gebb. Master Hake and his minions will not trouble us. They sleep soundly." It's just like, oh, yeah. "Will you let me in, my young friends? We must talk." Oh, mate, everything this guy says just really creeps me out so much. Matt shouts out, "Go away, let us sleep, let us sleep." And it's just like, everything's getting really tense now. And the guy just openly says, like, "My master has sent me to come find you. You must be very important." He even accuses them of possibly being dreadlords.
Yeah.
And how he thinks, "Yeah, you must be two dreadlords waiting, like being summoned to be there when our master awakens." And Rand says, you can hear the lust for that power in his voice. Oh, God, it's so creepy. I just love the writing. It's so good. And we get a nice little shout of blood and ashes as well. And it all seems like it's going to fall to pieces. Like, they refuse to go with him. Gabe orders his men to start trying to break down the door, and they're hammering at it. And every time they hammer at it, the little wedges just move an extra inch, bringing them closer into the door. Matt's going, "What are we going to do?" He says Matt looks like a trapped badger, which considering what Matt did in the beginning of the books with badgers, I think is a great little description, and also a nice little callback. Because
he's kind of freaking out.
Because Matt was the one who released a load of badgers over the over the village square. Chase off a bunch of girls. So now he looks like a scared badger, like darting from the window and around. Everything's going wrong. Rand's just like, "Oh my God, how are we going to get out of this? What can we do to escape?" And then suddenly a bright light just appears and flashes, and it sends Rand flying across the room. And he's just like, "Oh, what the hell was that?" And as he sort of begins to gain his senses a bit, he's looking around, and the door has flown off its hinges. And they can't see anyone behind the door. They're all gone. Gabe suddenly disappeared. And also there's a huge hole in the wall where the window and the bars were. There's just nothing there. It's all gone. And Rand doesn't know what's happened. And then suddenly, from underneath the pile of crates, Matt just sort of stands up and like looks vaguely in Rand's direction. It's like, Rand, is that you? Are you there? Rand's just like, yeah, this is me, Matt. What happened? I didn't see what happened. And Matt's just like, "Oh, Jesus, man, a bit of lightning hit the window. I was looking directly at it." And he's just like, "Shit, Rand, I can't see a thing." So it's a huge bolt of lightning came out of nowhere, hit the window, and blinded Matt slightly, and seemed to have taken out all of their enemies in one foul swoop.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened, but yeah.
As we like to say in England, that was lofty. Now, we don't like to spoil things in this podcast.
Sure.
So we won't. So, Rand's just like, "Oh my God, like, I just don't understand. Like it was just lightning. Wow, that's crazy." And it's just like, how convenient that a bit of lightning comes down, hits the wall, smashes everything to pieces, takes out all their enemies, leaves Matt and Rand mostly safe. Obviously it's hurt Matt's eyes quite a lot, and he can barely see anything. Very, very convenient. But the guy, let's not look a gift horse in the mouth, as we say, or let's not look Bella the Creator in the mouth, as we say.
Yeah.
They
just get out.
Yeah, they make like a tree and they leave. But Rand has to carry Matt, and he talks about how he's like falling over all the divots. They're getting pissed on by the rain. It's absolutely pouring down. And he tries his best not to stare back until the very last second, where he turns around and he can just about see the dancing cartmen. And there's a man outside shaking his fist at them or at the sky. He can't tell. He doesn't know whether it's Goad or Hake, but he thinks at this point it doesn't even matter. They're both as bad as each other. May they both rot in hell.
That's right.
Yeah, and that brings us to an end of the chapter. So Matt and Rand are in a bit of a desperate situation. They've managed to escape by, what are the chances of lightning hitting those bars? And how lucky are they weren't trying to pry the bars out with a crowbar at the time.
Yeah, it's pretty odd timing.
That would have absolutely fried them. But yeah, so that's where we are. And then the next chapter is really good as well. So you and Rob have got an absolute joy for a chapter next week. But yeah, this was the big moment, the big lightning moment in this book. This is key moment in the books. The lightning hits the thing, blinds Matt. This really sets up like the last half of this book. And the boys there. The boys escape. You know, this sets it all up. This is why I was like, oh my God, this is such a big chapter, because I always remember this scene when I think of these books. But what we'll do is now, Rich, we'll have a quick readings with Rob, and then we'll go on from there. So here is this week's readings with Roberto.
Hey guys, it's Rob. Sorry I couldn't make the live recording with Rich and Bill. I thought I'd just drop a little recording here before readings, just to give my thoughts on this chapter. First and foremost, I want to congratulate Bill that everything goes well. Healthy baby, healthy mother, healthy family. So all the best to you, Bill, in your endeavors in the next couple months. Baby duty, I know we both know it well and has its pluses and minuses, but good on you, mate. First off, I just listened to the audio that my two compadres just put together. I'm going to go ahead and say it, kind of one of the creepier pods. Glad I'm not one part of the original recording. Between the Cartman references and the Michael Jackson references and the Hal Goad references, yeah, kind of glad I wasn't there for the live recording. Anyway, bear with me. I'm going to go over some notes I made, notes for the chapter, and then notes from the recording. This is one of the key chapters of this book, Four Kings and Shadows. As I had said in previous podcasts, we're hitting what I consider to be the sweet spot of this book, of the first book, where we get chapter after chapter after chapter. We get Perrin and Egwene detained by the White Cloaks, and then we have the adventures of Matt and Rand as they're trying to make their way east towards Camelin. How they're finding trouble at every stop, be it farmers' daughters, be it farmers' dogs, or be it dark friends, and as we will find to be a trend, skinny innkeepers. You know, the boys have all the best intentions. They had a good run as fledgling gleemen, started from the Grinwell farm, and they made a good little run. Put some coin in their pockets, food in their bellies, and roof over their heads, and they were doing good until they got to Four Kings. You know, they come to the dancing cartman. You know, I'm glad Bill did the Cartman impersonation, because I'm not going to put that out there. I don't feel confident in my Cartman impersonation abilities, but thankfully Bill took care of that for me. And Michael Jackson, I'm not touching that. Phrasing, sorry, I'm not going to impersonate Michael Jackson. And I had some big notes on here. I was gonna absolutely lambast Bill, because he was the one who decided to not edit out me mixing up the Two Rivers Emmons Field, and that stuff I'm still getting shade over, deservedly so. But when they said that Goad was the innkeeper and that Hake was the one of the bouncers, I had notes on here and I was going to lambast them for it. But they caught themselves, or Bill caught himself at the right time. So Samuel Hake, the skinny innkeeper, right off the bat, we get how things are going to go in this place when he backhands the maid, who just basically says your current entertainment is drunk, you know, and she gets the back of his hand, and she's okay with it and walks off. That should have set red flags going everywhere. Potentially there was a fifth inn they could have gone to, but I get that they wanted to stay put, you know, at least try this place out. But in 1990, when this book came out, you know, that scene is seen in one way, but in 2019, that scene takes on a whole other air, and definitely not a good sign. However, the boys probably can smell the food from the kitchen, realize that they have the ability to play for their supper, as always, even though Hake is telling them that some scraps in the back of the room, you know, no promises, all that kind of jargon. The boys decide to try and power through, so they go ahead and set up shop to entertain the crowd. And of course, the country bumpkins they are, the heron. I guess you can't help but see the heron mark sword. Rand is playing from a silver flute, so they're showing that they have some items on them that people of lesser ilk will covet and want to try and take. And Rand picks up on that very quickly. He realizes, yeah, we're going to be in for it. So don't want to get robbed. Definitely don't want to lose the sword. God forbid if they happened to see Matt's dagger, they would have just probably pounced on him at that moment immediately. During the night, as we know, during their first set, Howell Goad comes in. Howell Goad enters the establishment, sits down at a table. My comment would have been that he has a big sign that says "fuck off." So anytime someone sat down, he'd show them the sign, "Hey, see this? Fuck off." Yeah, I guess he was winking and making eye contact. I'm sorry, Bill. I didn't go that route. I didn't think him as a creepy pedophile kind of guy, not really wanting to go there. I mean, he was a creepy bloke, wanting to keep to himself, but I see that he was playing his hand too strongly. Dark Friend, I think from a couple earlier in the book when Lan and Moraine were with the kids, it might have been Barrowland. I forget exactly which city, but the guy with the scar, he was dark and creepy, but he kind of kept to himself and sat in the back. And he kind of stood out that way, but not a lot. Howell Goad probably should have been a little more transparent, a little more hidden in the crowd, because he immediately stood out, immediately kind of gave off creepy bloke vibes. And Matt and Rand were like, yeah, that guy's not right. He is probably a Dark Friend. One thing we'll notice is that Dark Friends come in all shapes and sizes, and some could be wicked evil genius, smartest guy in the room, or some could be of a lower rank or maybe lower intelligence. Anybody can be a Dark Friend, I guess. Compare this to the Harry Potter wizarding world, where everybody's wizards and everybody has their rank and social status. Since we're around the main characters, we see Dumbledore and Voldemort and all these other very high level, high status kind of wizards. But then you get Terry Shumpert, I forget the first name, but basically the guy who was the ticket taker on the night bus in Prisoner of Azkaban. That instilled, when I first read that book and read that scene, it also gave me the realization that, there's social statuses and you can be a kind of a low rung type of wizard, but still be part of the wizarding world, but different kind of social statuses. So Dark Friends in the Wheel of Time also have that. And we'll find that in the next chapter, that there are varying social statuses of Dark Friends. They don't discriminate. They'll accept anybody who accepts the Lord of Shadows into their life. The boys, they do their first set. They go eat. Rand goes out, realizes, oh, this is Howell Goad from Whitebridge. He must have hooked it over here to catch us. And like I said, as they hear the word, he was in and out of different inns. He was about to leave this inn, caught sight of the boys, and turned around and came back. All this was seen by the boys. So once again, he may have the money and the wealth and the status, but not the chutzpah or the knowledge to stay low or stay in the shadows and to avoid detection. It is what it is. It could be a plot point, or it could, like I said, I see it as a part where you realize that Dark Friends have varying levels of status and intelligence. They come back, they do the second set. We know the story. They get walked up to their conveniently room with no lock all the way in the back. Don't know why the bouncers have to escort them to their rooms, but that's how Hake wanted it. And then I agree with Bill. At the last second, Hake says, "You know what? I can't take the chance on losing two good bouncers. If this redheaded tall guy can really wield that sword as someone deserving of a heron-marked blade." So he's like, "All right, shut it down tonight. We'll try to get it back in here, tomorrow or while they're sleeping." And I love the suspense set up by Jordan as the boys wedge the door, block the door. One thing that Bill and Rich forgot to mention is, as they were trying to pry out the door during one lightning flash, they see 2 or 3 or 4 large gentlemen outside the inn, down in the rain and mud and muck. They don't know if it's Hake's guys or if it's Goad's guys, but definitely a bad guy. Bad guys are out there. They can't go through the door they came into, obviously, because they'll give up that they're trying to leave and then get pounced on. They're trying to go out the window, then they find out it has bars. So they try to pry the bars off. Dozens of nails. Plus, now they see there's people outside the inn waiting for them if they happen to get out the window. Goad comes to the door and trying to plead with the boys. Have you heard the news? Have you heard the good news? The Dark One wishes to have you join him in his army. Whatever. So it was at this time that Matt decides, why don't we just give up, in theory, to Goad and then escape from him somewhere down the line. And Rand starts to put everything together. Can't go out the front door. We have Goad or Hake. Maybe Goad's men killed Hake's men. We don't have no idea. Windows are barred. There's guys outside waiting for us. There's no way out. And the phrase kept, no way out, no way out. There's got to be a way out. And boom. By some force of nature, in the world of the Wheel of Time, lightning strikes at the exact moment, at the exact time, to not only eliminate all enemies present, but not seriously harm Rand or not seriously harm Matt, and give them a way out. Now, we can say this is a Ta'veren moment. It could be something more. Those who have read the series, I mean, have a general idea of what this moment means. I would like to go into this a little bit more in the next chapter. But I agree with Bill. This is one of the key moments of the entire series. Happened in this moment. Rand was like, way out. We have to have a way out. Boom. They got it. And the boys don't have no idea what's going on. They didn't know who the men were outside. They don't know what happened to Goad. But it's silent on that end. The way out. And I love the moment of, I don't know if you want to call it moment of clarity, but as soon as Rand sees all this happen, his instinct is to, oh, the lamp's knocked over. Let me go pick it up. And Jordan even said, in Rand's mind, it was the most important thing in the world to make sure that the lamp was upright. It's such a simple thing, but it gives you an idea of the mindset to go literally in the snap of fingers from impending doom and no way out and just backed into a corner and boom, oh, the lamp knocked over. Okay, then I'll go fix it. Things are progressing, definitely in the story. So we'll hear more about that. Yeah, chapter 33, The Dark Waits. You know, normally I have a page of notes. Maybe I'll go to a page and a half. I have 2.5 full pages of notes of what happens in chapter 33. So Rich and I will dive into that chapter. Sorry, Rich, got to call you on it, adding to the creep factor when you said I like chunky. Please mean that you like chunky bars, candy? Okay. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to stop here. Here's Readings with Rob. And once again, congratulations to Bill. We will be advising all of our listeners when the new addition to the Bill family happens. All right, guys. Talk to you next week. Thanks.
And now, the Ta'veren present to you Readings with Rob.
Chapter 32, Four Kings in Shadow. Rand glanced back at the window just as the lightning split the sky, and he almost groaned. The brief flash of light showed men outside, ignoring the rain that drenched them as they stood watching the window. "I tire of this," Goad announced. "You will submit to my master, to your master, or you will be made to submit. That would not be pleasant for you. The great Lord of the Dark rules death, and he can give life in death, or death in life as he chooses. Open this door. One way or another, your running is at an end. Open it, I say." He must have said something else too, for suddenly a heavy body thudded against the door. It shivered, and the wedges slid a fraction of an inch with a grate of rust rubbing off on wood. Again and again, the door trembled as bodies hurled themselves at it. Sometimes the wedges held, sometimes they slid another tiny bit. And bit by tiny bit, the door crept inexorably inward. Submit, Goad demanded from the hall, or spend eternity wishing that you had.
If we don't have any choice.
Matt licked his lips under Rand's stare. His eyes darted like the eyes of a badger in a trap. His face was pale, and he panted as he spoke.
We could say yes, and then get away later. Blood and ashes, Rand. There's no way out.
The words seemed to drift to Rand through wool stuffed in his ears. No way out. Thunder muttered overhead, and was drowned in a slash of lightning. Have to find a way out. Goad called to them, demanding, appealing. The door slid another inch towards being opened. A way out. Light filled the room, flooding vision. The air roared and burned. Rand felt himself picked up and dashed against the wall. He slid down in a heap, ears ringing and every hair on his body trying to stand on end. Dazed, he staggered to his feet. His knees wobbled, and he put a hand against the wall to steady himself. He looked around in amazement. The lamp, lying on its side on the edge of one of the few cells, still clinging to the walls, still burned and gave light. All the barrels and crates, some blackened and smoldering, lay toppled where they had been hurled. The window, bars and all, and most of the wall too, had vanished, leaving a splintered hole. The roof sagged, and tendrils of smoke fought the rain around the jagged edges of the opening. The door hung off its hinges, jammed in the doorframe at an angle slanting into the hall. With a feeling of woozy unreality, he stood the lamp up. It seemed the most important thing in the world was making sure it did not break.
That was Readings with Rob. If there's a passage in an upcoming chapter you wish to have read on the podcast, simply tweet us at TavirenPod with your request.
And that was Readings with Rob. Now, I have to say, Rich, I haven't listened to it yet. I don't know what part he chose. But I hope he chose a part with Gobe in it, because I really want to hear it.
He probably did.
I really want to hear if he puts on like a really creepy voice. I want him to either do a Cartman impression like I did, or like a Michael Jackson impersonation.
Yeah,
hey,
that'd be good.
Hey, my friends. We need to talk, Shalom. Anyway, apologies to people who do like Michael Jackson out there.
You have problems.
I do. I have lots of problems. I've got 99 problems, but Jacko ain't one.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, my brain's all over the place. I really need a coffee. But yes, so, guys, that was The Four Kings in Shadow, which, like I say, whenever I think back to the Wheel of Time series, I always remember the moment of the lightning hitting the thing, because I had to read it like 4 or 5 times to try and understand what happened. and I realized, like, he doesn't actually describe what happens properly, so I don't know what happens. It's just like Matt says, oh, lightning hit the thing. And it's just like, yeah, but how did that take out the people by the door? But the next chapter 33 for next week that you all have to read, is The Dark Waits. And it's a chunky one. It's a chunky one, Rich.
I like chunky.
You like chunky. Kit Kat chunky? Kit Kat chunky with peanut butter. Tasty, tasty, tasty. So yeah,
you need food.
Yeah, I do. I'm so hungry. I've got an orange in my hands, and I've just been playing with it the whole time we've been talking. Just like Matt playing with his balls. But yes, The Dark Waits is the next chapter 33. And like I say, guys, I'll miss you all for a couple of months. You know, I will be back. I'm having a baby.
Yeah.
So I need to prioritize, human life over podcasting, unfortunately.
I guess.
Yeah, but I will be back. Don't you fear. So, apologies for having to leave you with in Rich's hands.
Yeah, it's fine. Things happen.
It's fine. Rich is going to love it. He's going to get like weeks and weeks of really good sleep.
Yeah.
But yes, to the Wheel of Time community, love you all. I'll be back soon. I'm just waiting for the pattern to weave me back, because at the moment it's spitting me out in a sewer somewhere.
Yeah, with a baby.
Yeah, in a baby down in the gutters. It's the not the Dragon Reborn. What should we call it? The chameleon? No. What's a weird lizard name?
A gecko?
The gecko. Yeah, the Gecko Reborn. my mystical child, the Gecko Reborn. And we will return. I will return at some point. But yes, I will leave you in the capable hands of Rich and Rob in the meantime. But yeah, I feel like I'm saying goodbye forever. But
you're not.
I know, but I'm no one's going to. I'm not going to be on this podcast for like almost 2 months. So I'm very sad. Very sad. But yes,
you'll be back for the first of the year.
Ish.
Close.
No, I'll be going well into. No, probably mid to late January, I think.
Yeah,
it depends when the baby's born.
Yeah.
But guys, yes. Anyway, I'm off to the Four Kings for a pint. I hear they've got a good juggler on tonight.
Me too.
Me too. Yeah, it's your round, mate.
I'm following.
Right.
Actually, wait. I'm not technically here. Remember?
Oh yes.
I'm still far away.
Oh yeah, you're off playing with wolves.
Yep.
Oh, I guess it's my round. No, it's Rob's round. Yes, definitely Rob's round. Right, I'll see you guys later.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.
Now that our heroic trio have left the familiar confines of the two rivers, they find themselves being chased by all sorts of denizens of the Dark One. Our party has been scattered, and the boys separated from Moraine and Lan. Let us hope that luck, or some other force, can keep them safe. Bill? Billiam! Put that dagger down! You have no idea where in creation that's been. No, Rich. I don't have an extra cloak with me. Maybe if you didn't ride your horse straight into the Arenelle, you wouldn't have this problem, For crying out loud, Robert, I know that girl from Berlon said weird things to you, but you shouldn't let it get under your skin so much. What are you, 11? You all remind me of a younger version of myself. Why, back in Watch Hill, I would...
Podcasters Assemble! Podcasters Assemble Season 2 is a hype/rewatch podcast that's reviewing every movie in the Star Wars Skywalker saga and a countdown to the release of Episode 9. As with Season 1, where we covered all of the films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we want to hear from you about your favorite things in the Star Wars films. You can submit audio for just one of the movies in the Skywalker saga, or you can send in an audio file for every single one. Talk about what you love about the film, your favorite light side moment versus dark side moment, or your favorite music cue, your favorite quote, or your favorite ship or vehicle in the movie. If you go to probablywork.com and look for Podcasters Assemble, you'll find these instructions as well as a link on where to go to submit your audio. In order to make sure we have time to edit everything, we're looking for you to submit your audio a couple days before. So the deadline for the first episode is going to be October 20th. And then it's weekly after that. So for episode 2, it's October 27th and so on from there. Again, you can find the schedule and all of this information at probablywork.com. Whether you're a podcaster, a YouTuber, a streamer, or just a fan of Star Wars, we want to hear from you. So head to probablywork.com or look up @CastersAssemble on Twitter and share your thoughts about Star Wars.
This has been a presentation
of the We Can Make This Work
Probably Network.
Follow us on Twitter
@probablywork
for more of our questionable content.
Also, we have a website called probablywork.com.